What's up, guys? I'm Alex Mondlak. I top 8 Kentucky Regionals past weekend with Cyber Dragons, my favorite deck of all time. But let's get into the list. 3 Cyber Dragon, 3 Noster, broken new card, can revive Infinities, Novas, Rampages.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the correct ratio is 3 because it's a card you want to see and it's another machine dupe target. 3 Hertz, pretty standard. 3 Core, 1 Fear. Pretty standard ratio for the most part. Fear's really good at chain blocking for everything else, especially some people are playing Bell again, so it can help chain block for Naster. And then 2 Galaxy Soldier, basically like another level 5 light machine to help make Novas easier. Then hand traps, 3 Phantasme, 3 Ash, 3 Failure. Pretty standard for the most part. I mainly play Failure because it has synergy with Phantasme. If you don't play Phantasme, I recommend Impermanence then in that case. But overall, can't complain about these ratios.
I have a question. Does Phantasme summoning itself, does that ever conflict with Cyber Dragon itself, or is that just that easy to play around?
Oh yeah, it's easy to play around. There's only 2 conditions really in which that would conflict, I guess. And that's if you open up 2 Cyber Dragon and Phantasme helps filter one of them away, so it's already making your situation better, or if you top deck into a Cyber Dragon. That's it. But even with Noster, like, you can just pitch the Cyber Dragon and special it out and you're okay, just like that. And plus, it can help protect the Noster from Impermanence, Anchor, Failure. So overall, doesn't really conflict unless you're really unlucky.
Alright.
And then kind of moving on to general spells. 3 Twin, 1 for 1 Foolish, 1 Overload, and then Machine Dupe. For the most part, these are pretty standard. Like, the only real huge thing is, like, maybe the Twin Twisters over Prankatops, because Prankatops can conflict with Phantasme sometimes, especially when you're going against Striker, where they have one guy and you have the Phantasme, and then they go multi-roll, set a bunch of back row, and they could be maining cards like Summon Limit and such, which a few lists have been doing. So, in my opinion, Twin's a lot better, and plus cards like Hertz, and then even pitching a core occasionally and then banishing the core, it just has a lot more synergy overall and it helps you deal with the floodgate problem. 1 for 1 is a million times better doing Noster. Even though it does require some investment, just don't run into an Ash really. Just kind of try to use it when it's safe. And then Foolish Burial is basically like another star milling off cores, Hertz, and all that. Only 1 Overload just because it can lose the floodgates, and especially since Summon Limit is super popular and there can only be 1. It's just like, I recommend 1 because it can just lose to a bunch of back row, including Rampage itself, where it can lose a Strike, Impermanence, Anchor. It's one of those cards that you only want to resolve when it's safe to. And then Machine Dupe is the sack card, like, no need to explain that. And then the Cyber Spells and Traps. 3 Emergency, 2 Repair Plant, 1 Rev System, 1 Cyber Load, and then 1 Trap. This is all pretty standard for the most part. Like, some players have been cutting this down to 1 to help improve the ratios to their deck, try and keep it at 40, which is kind of understandable. But I really like this card right now, just mainly because it helps grab combo pieces that you may be missing to help break boards. Moving on to the extra deck. 1 Link Rebo, Platinum, Seeger, Genius, Summon Sword, Griffin. So this is all pretty standard for the most part except for Platinum Gadget. Platinum Gadget can help unclump hands and make Nosters more effective with your hand resources. Overall, I say it's worth it just because it adds a bunch of versatility into your extra deck. So it's just really good at what it does. And then I saw some players cutting out Summon Sword Griffin in recent lists, which is pretty understandable because you rarely actually ever summon them in a tournament setting because it's never really safe to. But I might test cutting these guys out and see how it does, but for the most part, right, if they're left wide open, these cards just can seal games up like that.
Yeah, they also conflict with Naster, right? He locks you into machines.
Yeah, exactly. Like, for sure, once Lane Podship Amber Whale comes out, like, I'm taking out the Griffin for it for sure because it's a Link 4 machine. So, and that's like the only real thing that's relevant about it. And then moving on to Exceed, 2 Nova, to Infinity. Like, this ratio has gotten much better in Live Noster recently, especially the fact that you can revive Infinities from Graveyard, but occasionally, right, if they're left wide open, right, and they're at like 4,000 or below, a cute little trick I do is I go Noster 5 Nova. Nova attacks directly, and then damage step just banishes the Noster, and boom, that's 42 to the face like that. If they somehow live by a miracle, when I do that play, you just can infinity stack over Nova anyway. So, and then moving on fusions, 2 Rampage, and then the Chimera Techs. Overall, pretty standard for the most part. Can't really complain. Like, I still like 2 of this guy, especially because you play 1 Overload, 1 Cyberload, and occasionally, right, a player might ogre, like, the Nova, which happened to me twice at a regional, so I don't know why people think that's smart, but it happens.
Maybe people aren't expecting the targets, because you can't summon the Chimera Techs, right? They have to be summoned by their own way?
Yes, they have to be brought by their own way. Like, I remember a player attempted to super poly to bring one out, and like, you can't. So they can only be brought by their own way. And then moving on, 3 Pankatops, 2 Ogre, 3 Shared Ride, Sanctum package, and then Lancia. Overall, I'm a huge fan of this side because, like, Danger Thunder is like my worst matchup, and it's the only matchup that I want to go first against. So if I'm like, if I lost game 1, assuming against Danger Thunder, I literally got all these cards coming in, and then game like 3, I would have Pankatops on top of it. On top of, like, you know, Ogre, Lancias. Overall, this side deck is super adaptable, especially the going first side. Like, what these guys have in common is the fact that, oh, in response to back removal, you can chain them, and it still affects the turn. Like, they're not going to be digging themselves out of it no matter how hard they extend, which is really nice, especially if you set up an Infinity. They're just going to be either locked in with Scythe, or you're plussing off a Shared Ride. Either way, they're not going to be happy with what they see. Overall, can't complain about the list. Like, it might slightly change in light of, you know, possible ban lists and the new set, but overall, in terms of where this format currently is, I would not change a thing about this list.
All right.
Other than that, shout out to my team, Team SSD. Like, they helped me improve a lot as a player, and they helped me iron out this list leading in regionals. And then shout out to my personal friend and new sponsor, Jam1TCG. He also does have a deck profile up on here, but it's like a much more in-depth explanation if you guys want to learn like the ins and outs. It's kind of a long video, but like if you're trying to learn from the ground up, it will help you out a lot.
Yeah, I'll make sure to link it in the description.
Sounds good. Other than that, have a good day, everyone.
All right.